Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's video is on the Independent. I'm doing a video on this tank because I had it donated to me by one of my Twitch supporters called FPS. So as you can see, this tank is a rather strange tank, and that's because it's the oldest tank in the game. And the idea behind having it so long is that it can travel over trenches, because it's designed to fight in a war like the First World War. This results in the vehicle performing in a very strange manner, because obviously turning around and going over bumps and hills and whatnot doesn't work so well. So when looking at this tank, the first thing we'll do is of course look at the gun, and the gun is a 3-pounder. Now this 3-pounder is the only one in the game. There's only 2 other 3-pounders in the game which are on ships. Now, as you can see them here, so I'll put them on screen, they're actually different types of cannons. This is the only 3-pounder that's on the ground, and it's actually the only 3-pounder of this type in the entire game. Now, there's only one shell, and it doesn't pen much, but it does a fair bit of damage, as you can see there. You also get some other turrets, which only have machine guns in, but at such a battle rating, you do come up against a lot of vehicles where you can actually machine gun people to death, and you'll see that later on. So next we'll look at the armor. The armor's pretty poor. I mean, what do you expect from the oldest tank in the game? However, that doesn't mean the survivability's bad. Of course, with it being 8 crew, it's quite easy to survive being shot a lot. However, with the addition of the new Swedish tanks that fires Sabot, that started to change a bit. Obviously, if you fire a Sabot, it'll go through one person straight through another, killing them. Whereas a normal round, which would burst, usually the crew would absorb a lot of shrapnel rather than it letting it go through to the next person, meaning the survivability is severely lower if you're versing something like a Sabot that the new Swedish tanks have. Even with such low armor, we do bounce a lot of rounds. There's quite a lot of areas on this which are curved. There's also the survivability factor of if somebody fires into one of the smaller turrets and tries to go through that, obviously the shell will go through, and a lot of them will burst inside the small turret and not come out the other side. And sometimes they do come out the other side and just get stopped because they're having to go through so much to reach that location. So let's see what this is like in an actual combat situation. So as we get into the game here, we can see that the Independent's actually rather effective over range. You can see it's firing rather long distance, quite accurately, getting hits here on the Sturmpanzer and knocking him out. And we do it again. This guy going on our right, going on L3, which is a very small target, so he is kind of hard to hit. We can still just about hit him. Now, the L3 actually starts to return fire, however, due to him firing over long range with a 20mm anti-tank rifle that uses APH, he can't pen me. So we didn't sustain any damage there. As we push up here, there's a 38T. Knock him out in one shot straight through the front of his armor. As we pull around the corner here, we see 2 squeezy boys. So we open fire on them with the machine guns, kill both of them with the 2 front machine gun turrets. As we saw before, we saw one moving along here, so we're chasing that guy. And we find him, knock him out with one shot. An enemy on the right, another squeezy boy. I tried to machine gun him, but it's quite hard to hit him. But of course, one shot from the 3-pounder knocks him out. Behind us is a Panzer III. Start firing at him. This shows the weakness of the gun here. Even though it's an APHE round, and we're firing quite a lot of rounds into him, because the German vehicle like that, they're quite spread out, we actually struggle to kill him. All the shrapnel gets absorbed by his front crew and doesn't kill everyone in the turret. However, we push alongside here, and you can see just how fast the vehicle is. And knock him out with one final shot. As you can see then, we're running up forward like that. It was really, really quick. As we're capping the point here, we get shot from all the way in the distance and get killed, as we had already lost a lot of crew from previous engagements. So, to conclude, what is this tank like overall? It's not slow at all, it's actually really quick. Especially say it's the oldest tank in the game, it's huge. You don't expect it to be quick, but it is. It is actually quite quick. You've got a high rate fire gun, you've got good survivability. There's, of course, one problem with it, which is, with the survivability, is that the inside isn't separated very well. So I'll show you a picture here of what it looks like on the inside. You can see that if a round goes in, everyone's together. There's nothing dividing the areas other than the individual turrets themselves. If somebody gets shot through one of the turrets, it won't hit the others, but if it gets shot below, it'll hit them as all their legs and whatnot are together. The disadvantage of it, of course, is how long it is. It's an easy target, it's easy to spot too, it's a bit clumsy when turning or going over hills or anything like that. Another disadvantage is that its pen isn't great. I know not here it does struggle a bit with pen. Not too much, but a bit, so in all reality it probably should be battle rating 1. However, this vehicle doesn't really get played that much. It's one of the rarest vehicles in-game, and there's a good reason for how rare it is, and it's the biggest disadvantage of the whole thing, and that it costs 2,100 golden eagles. I mean, who in their right mind pays that much for a battle rating 1 vehicle, even if it's as unique as this one, which is great fun. Don't get me wrong, it's great fun, and it's very interesting. But it's not worth 2,100 eagles, and that's why it's so rare. So, overall, what can I really say about it other than it's very interesting and quite fun to play, but just too expensive. You can't grind with it because it's too low a tier, and that means that all you're going to get from it is a unique experience, but you're better off then going for a different tank, or, you know, maybe like a Rogo. So anyway, where do we put this on the leaderboard? I wasn't sure really where to put this on the leaderboard, as it's quite hard to decide due to the price of it. Despite loving this vehicle, it's so expensive, so I've had to put it under the FV and put it there because of all those factors combined. It's great, but it's too expensive for what it is. So I have some other notes about this tank. One is that larger turret on the back left is actually an AA gun. I shit you not, that is an AA gun. I don't know what the designers of this tank were thinking, but they legitimately thought that could shoot down a plane. And that's turret alone. The other ones are for shooting infantry, but that rear left one is an AA gun. And I would love it so much if Gaijin let us use that turret like they do with the naval turrets. Put an AI gunner in it to fire at planes, it would be great. Now, some of the notes are that it never actually saw combat. This thing was just an experiment. A failed experiment, and in real life it never actually had its own gun. I mean, it does now, but that was added in by the Tank Museum at a later date. So from a historical standpoint it's lacking anything because it never actually passed its trials far enough to even reach the point where they would even test fire the weapon, let alone actually put it into any sort of active use. And we're going to start a second leaderboard for multi-turreted tanks. So we'll review 2 multi-turreted tanks, the Rogo and the Independent now. So where does the Independent go on this table? Right at the bottom, under the Rogo. Now, it doesn't mean it's a bad tank, it's just that it's not as good as the Rogo. It's more expensive, it's got less useful turrets, it's simply not as good. So thanks for watching. The next video I'll be making will be a review of Holdfast Nations at War. The next War Thunder video I'll do, I'm going to take requests for, so if you have any vehicles you want me to review, leave it in the comment section down below. The first comment requesting a vehicle that I actually have, I'll make a video for. It can be premium or not premium, it can be a tank, plane, boat, anything as long as I have it. Also please leave a like. That helped me with the algorithm, as the YouTube algorithm is rather strange, as I'm sure you've heard from other YouTubers. And if you've got any questions, make sure to ask them in the comment section, or on my Discord, or in my stream. The links for those will be in the description. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye. I present to you the pride of the Royal Navy, the amphibious battleship, the Independent.